Hi everyone, this is Tasman here from Tasman's Crochet Creations, and in this video I'll be showing you how to crochet this beautiful mega chunky cropped sweater. This sweater is so much fun and so quick and easy to whip up. It is honestly like one of my favorite projects so far, just because of how quick it works up. So yeah, let's get started with today's tutorial on how to crochet this beautiful mega chunky cropped sweater.
Soundstripe.
So for this beautiful crochet cropped sweater, we'll be using this Charity, this mega chunky yarn. It is a solid color, so yeah, that's why it says solid. Yeah, so we'll be using this Charity mega chunky yarn. It's 100% acrylic. It's a 300-gram ball. It recommends, it's approximately 120 yards or 110 meters. It recommends a 12 to 15 millimeter crochet hook, in which we'll be using a 12 millimeter crochet hook for the tutorial. And this is the color Aqua. Okay, so it's this nice blue color. I bought 4 balls of these, and this yarn is pretty pricey. It is 89 Rand here in South Africa. I bought this from Bargain Baskets, but other places are a little bit more expensive or cheaper, depending where you buy it from. So yeah, I bought 4 balls just to be on the safe side, but I'll put the exact yardage that I used in the description box below. So yeah, as for the rest of the materials, as I said, we'll be using a 12 millimeter crochet hook. We'll also be needing some scissors and a crochet hook or a tapestry needle to sew in those ends. So tapestry needle. So you can either use a smaller crochet hook or your tapestry needle to help sew in those ends. I find that the crochet hook helps a little bit more to sew in those ends. So yeah, that's it for the materials. Let's get started with today's tutorial. Okay, so to begin, we're going to start by making a slip knot. So again, I'm using a 12 millimeter crochet hook. And so to make our slip knot, we're just going to take our yarn, wrap it around the palm of our hand to form like an X, and then we'll go under the first loop and pick up the second loop. Take our tail end and our working yarn and pull that a bit tight. Okay, so we are actually going to start on the ribbing of the sweater. So this will be the bottom ribbing, and we'll be working on the front panel for now. Okay, so to chain, we're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we're going to chain 7 for the ribbing, and then we are going to turn our work over, and it will reveal these like back bumps. So I don't know if you can see those little like back bars at the back of the stitch. So I'm going to turn my work over. I'm going to go into the second chain from hook, so not the first one, the second one. So I'm going to insert into underneath that back bar there and do a single crochet. So single crochet is just insert, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 to do a single crochet. Okay, so again, you will insert into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, into the next chain, do a single crochet. So it's insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Okay, so you'll just continue putting 1 single crochet in each of the chains across, and you should have 6 single crochet stitches by the end of this first row. Okay, so we are, as I said, we are creating ribbing for the waistband for the front and the back, but we'll just be working on the front panel for now. Okay, so I just did a single crochet into the last stitch, so now this is what it should be looking like. It's a bit wonky at the end there. Okay, so this is what it should be looking like now. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to form the ribbing, we'll be working the back loops only. So I'm just going to chain 1 and turn. Okay, so for the ribbing, as I said, we'll be working in the back loops only. So if I get my crochet hook here, my smaller crochet hook, so I can show you. Okay, so for at the top of any stitch you have this like V at the top of the stitch. So the loop closest to you is the front loop. The loop furthest away from you is the back loop. So we'll be working to the back loops of each of the single crochet stitches. Okay, so we'll be working in the back loops only. Okay, so you've chained 1 and turned. So as I said, you'll go into the back loop only. You're going to go into the back loop and do a single crochet. Then again you'll move into the next stitch and do a single crochet and then to the back loops only. Okay, so you'll be placing 1 single crochet in the back loops only of each stitch across, and you should have kept the same stitch count as, sorry about that, as 6. Okay, so you should have kept the same stitch count as 6. Oopsie. Okay, so you can just place 1 single crochet in the back loops only of all the stitches across. Okay, so as you can see there, it forms this like ridge. So it has pushed the front loops of the stitches forward as we worked into the back loops. Okay, so we're just going to repeat that through the rest of the waistband. So we have chained 1 and turned. Then again you're going to work 1 single crochet into the back loops of each stitch. Okay, so again the back loop is the loop furthest away from you in the V of the top of the stitch. So the front loop is the closest to you and the back loop is the furthest away from you. Okay, so you'll just place 1 single crochet to each back loop all the way around, all the way to the end of the row. Okay. And basically for the ribbing, you'll just repeat this, chaining 1 and turning and then putting a single crochet into each of the back loops of the single crochet stitches. And you'll keep on doing this until you reach the length of the waistband that you want. So this waistband, you'll put it up against you and it will be from like the middle of your side to the other side of your body, or like basically from like in the middle of like your underarm area to the other side of your underarm area. And you'd want to make sure that when you crochet, or not when you crochet, when you pull it up against your body to like measure it, to like stretch it out, because this is going to be a fitted waistband. Okay, and this is going to be a fitted waistband. So when you put it up against your body, you must stretch it. If that makes any sense. So the waistband will be fitted because it will be stretched. So you must put it against your body, stretch it across your body, and keep on working until like the work stretched reaches from the one side of your body to the other side. If that makes any sense. I don't know if it makes much sense. Okay, so you just want to continue repeating this ribbing until you get to the length that you want your waistband to be. Okay. Okay, So you can just go off, and I'll meet back up with you when we're ready to move on to the next step. Okay. Okay, so now I have completed the length of the waistband that I need, and as I said, this waistband stretched is from the one side of my body to the other side of my body, and I have a total of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 and 20 rows. Try that again. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 and 20. Yeah, so I have 20 rows of the single crochet in the back loops only. Yeah, so this is what the waistband should be looking like now. So now we will move on, and we will start forming like the rest of our sweater. So now we're going to start working up like this. So yeah, so we're going to now chain 1, and we're going to like, instead of working like this back onto our stitches for the ribbing, we're going to turn our work and we're going to work onto the side rows of the single crochets. So as I said, we're going to work up. So I've chained 1, and I'm going to put 1 single crochet into this first single crochet row. I'm just going to insert my hook there, and then I'm going to put 1 single crochet into the next row, and then again 1 single crochet to the edge of the next row, and then we're just going to repeat that along, putting 1 single crochet into each stitch of the, we're going to put 1 single crochet into each stitch across the edge of the rows. Okay, so the same amount of rows that you had once you were finished with the ribbing is the same amount of single crochets you should have at the top of this section here. Okay, so as I said, you're just going to place, come on, 1 single crochet to each stitch of the single crochet rows. And as I said, the amount of rows that you had is the amount of stitches you should have. Okay, let me just go back and redo this other one quickly, because I don't like the way it looks. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you're just going to repeat this, putting 1 single crochet into the edge of each single crochet row, and you should have the same stitch count as the amount of rows you had. So because I had 20 rows, I should have 20 stitches by the end of this row. Okay. So you just want to continue with this until you get to the end, and I'll show you what to do from there. Okay. Okay, so now I have made it across, putting 1 single crochet in the edge of each single crochet row, and I've kept the same stitch count of 20, so it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 and 20. Okay, so what we're going to do from here is we are now going to chain up 2. We're going to turn our work, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet into each stitch across. So to do a double crochet, you yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. We'll have 3 loops on our hook. Then we'll yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the second 2 to do a double crochet. Again, is yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2 again to do a double crochet. Again, it's yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2 again to do a double crochet. So that is what it should be looking like. And the chain 2 at the beginning is just for leverage. It's not going to count as a stitch. It's just to get our working loop, the heart of the stitch that we're going to be working. Okay, so you can continue placing 1 double crochet in each stitch across until you get to the end, and of course you would have kept the same stitch count of 20. Okay, so you can just repeat this until you get to the end, and I'll meet back up with you when you're ready to move on to the next row. Okay, so now I've made it back to the end, and again I should have kept the same stitch count of 20. So it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 and 20. Okay, so we'll just repeat row 1 of the double crochets until, let's see, until this work is in line with like the beginning of your underarm section, if that makes any sense. Because what we are going to do is we're going to work all the way up the length of our sweater, but then we will leave a little like neck opening here. So yeah, we will just continue crocheting like 1 double crochet in each row until our work comes up to like our armpit area, like just where our armpit like begins, I guess. Okay, so you're just going to chain 2 and turn, and then again just place 1 double crochet into each stitch across so you get to the end, and you would have kept the same stitch count. Yeah, so again you can just keep on doing this until your work, when you lay it up against you, your work should end like just where your armpits are, and then I'll come back and show you what to do to form like a V-neck kind of thing. Okay, so you can keep doing that, and I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like when we have got into our armpit length, height, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I am designing this as I go, so just like bear with me, I guess. So yeah. Yeah, so you can just continue that, putting 1 double crochet in each stitch around for the heart that you wanted, until like your armpit area. Okay, so now I have come back and I've finished crocheting the length of my crop top that I want it to be, well, not crop top, my sweater that I want it to be. So as I said, this comes up to like just like my armpit, or like where my armpit begins, I should say. And I've done a total of, I think it's 7 rows. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I've done a total of 8 rows, and this thing measures from the end of the row to the end of the ribbing. It measures about 34 centimeters, and just for the double crochet row it is 24 centimeters. So yeah, obviously you can do more or less rows if you wanted like a slightly like bigger, chunkier sweater, or if you want it to be like a full length sweater, but obviously, you know, you'd obviously make it longer than this. But okay, yeah, so this is what it looks like so far. So now we're going to start forming like a little V-neck here. So we're going to start forming like a little V-neck over here. Okay, so what we're essentially going to do is we're going to work across 10 stitches, because I have an even amount of numbers, because I have 20 stitches. I'll have 10 on either side. But if you have an odd number amount of stitches, you'll work till there's 1 stitch left remaining. So you'll work till here, you'll end there, you'll have 1 stitch in the middle, then you'll work here until you have then you'll work until the 1 stitch before the middle stitch if you have an odd number. So you'll have basically 3 stitches in the middle, so you'll work till the left and the right of the middle stitch if you have an odd number of stitches. Yeah, but because I have an even amount of stitches, what would you call it, I will just work till, I don't know, the middle of the 2 stitches. It makes any sense? No, that makes any sense. Okay, so what I've done now is I have just chained up 2. I've just chained up 2. Let me just zoom in a bit here. So I have chained up 2. Zoom out a little bit more. Okay, so I've chained up 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 1 double crochet to the first 10 stitches. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so now we'll stop there. So this is what it should be looking like now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 2, and then we are going to turn our work. Okay, so we're going to turn our work, and then we will decrease the first 2 stitches. Okay, so a decrease is just a yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. We'll have 3 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, we'll have 2 loops on a hook, we'll stop there, we'll yarn over again, go into the next stitch, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through the first 2, you'll have 3 loops on your hook, and then you'll yarn over and pull through those 3 loops to do a decrease. So this is a double crochet 2 together for a decrease. Okay, and then you'll just place 1 double crochet in the remaining stitches. Okay, so you can just do that quickly, place 1 double crochet in the remaining stitches, and then I'll meet back up with you when we are at the end. Okay, so now that we are at the end, we're just going to chain up 2 again, and then we're going to turn our work. And then we are going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch across until we get to the last 2 stitches. Okay, so each row you'll be decreasing by 1, and you will just keep on decreasing until, like, if you lay your work up against your body, until this side portion reaches the top of your shoulder. So depending on how many stitches you have at the end, it all depends what size you're making, or how big or how small you're making your cropped sweater, and it just depends on your stitch count, really. Okay, so now I'm coming up to the last 2 stitches. So I'm just going to do a decrease again. So the yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through the first 2, stop there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through those 3 loops to do a decrease. Okay, so now you can see it kind of starts to like taper off. Okay, so we're going to chain up 2 again. Turn our work. I think this will be our last row, but I'll just check quickly. Okay, so we're going to do a decrease. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. We'll stop there. And then we'll yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. We'll have 3 loops on our hook, and then yarn over and pull through those 3 loops. And then you'll just place 1 double crochet in each stitch remaining. Okay. So I have done 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of the decreasing or of shaping of the v-neck, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches at the end of those 4 rows. Okay, I'm just going to see if this fits me quickly. Okay, yeah, so this now fits me perfectly now. It comes all the way up to the top of my shoulder. Okay, so yeah, now we can end off this side. So we can just put our hook in, and we can get our scissors, leave a bit of a tail for sewing. Actually, I really like snip this yarn. Okay, whatever. So snip your yarn. Sorry, my scissors are a bit blunt. And then yarn over and pull that through. Okay, so that is the one side of our shoulder portion done. Now we're going to work on to the next side. So I'm going to make sure that our stitches run in the same direction. So with this facing me now, the first row is on the is like the wrong side of the stitch. So I'm going to flip my work so that I have these stitches running in the same direction. Okay, because if you look at the row above, it looks very bumpy, and the row beneath it looks very smooth. So because it looks very smooth, I know I must start working on this side. So I'm going to join my yarn. So I'm going to join my yarn again. So I'm just going to take my yarn. So I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch where it ended off. Chain up 2, and then I'm just going to place 1 double crochet to each stitch across. Until I get to the other end. And essentially what you did on this side, you'll just be repeating, but you'll be putting your decreases to the v-neck side, so not this outer edge, on the v-neck side. Okay, but I'll run through with it with you so we can do it together. Okay. What happened there? I think I didn't pick up all of my loops properly. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I'm also just working over my tail end. I forgot to mention that. So I'm literally just hanging it over my work, and I'm just working over my tail end, so don't have to worry about sewing it in later. Okay, so I'm just going to place 1 double crochet into each stitch across. Oopsie. Okay. Okay, again working over that tail end. Sorry, let me just redo the stitch again. So just continue putting 1 double crochet into each stitch until the end, and I'll come back when you're ready to move on to the next row. Okay, so now that I am at the end, I'm just going to chain 2 and turn. Okay, so now I've turned my work. Okay, and now we're just going to place one double crochet in each stitch until we have 2 stitches remaining, and then we'll do a decrease in the last stitch. Okay, see. I'm nearing to the last 2 stitches over here. Okay, so just doing my one last double crochet. Okay, so now for these last 2 stitches we're going to decrease again. So we are going to yarn over, insert into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, stop there. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, then you're going to yarn over again, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over and pull through those first 2 loops. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then you'll chain 2 again, and then you'll turn your work. You'll turn your work, and then you'll do another decrease. So you're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, stop there, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, and then you'll place 1 double crochet in the remaining stitches until you get to the end, and then I'll meet back up with you when you're ready to move on to the next row. Okay, so now moving on to the last row, we're going to chain up 2 again, and then we're going to turn, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet to each stitch across until the remaining 2 stitches, where we'll do another double crochet decrease, or a decrease 2 together. Okay. Just crocheting into the last double crochet stitch here. Yeah, and now in the last 2 stitches we'll decrease again. So we'll yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. We'll have 3 loops on a hook. We'll pull through the first 2. We'll yarn over and pull through the first 2. We'll stop there. Then we'll yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through those 3 loops on your hook. Yeah, and there is our next side done. So as you can see, let me just put this nicely. So as you can see now, we've created a nice little V neck opening here. Okay, so this is the end of our front panel. Of course, you can make this as longer or shorter as you want. If you wanted to narrow much quicker, you could decrease more on this side. So you could maybe decrease 3 stitches instead of 2, or you can decrease 2 stitches together and then another 2 stitches together. So yeah, so that's the end of this side panel. So you should have the same amounts of rows as you did for this one. So you should have 4 rows. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So again, you'd want to take your scissors and cut your yarn, leaving a bit of a tail to sew in those ends later. Chain 1 and pull up a loop, and there you go. Yeah, so this is the front done now. It is quite big and chunky, as you can see. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the back panel. and it's going to be this very similar but different. So we won't have such a big V neckline for the neck opening for the back. What we're going to do is we're going to do the same ribbing, the same kind of ribbing, the same double crochet rows, but we will continue crocheting. So we'll do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 rows of the double crochet stitches. But then when we get to the 12th row, the last row, we will leave a few stitches on this side for the neck opening. So we'll maybe stop with like maybe the same amounts of stitches in the middle here. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, we probably will have to anyway. Yeah, so we're gonna have like a nice, like, how should I put it? So it's gonna be like straight, but to this point it's gonna be like, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, anyway, let's just get started with the back panel, shall we? Yeah, so we can put this aside now. We can work on our back panel. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the back panel of the cropped sweater. So again, we are going to make the bottom ribbing of our sweater. So we're going to start off with our slip knot. So wrap it around the palm of your hand and it forms an X. Hold it there with your thumb and then put your hook underneath the first loop, pick up the second loop, take your working yarn and your tail end and pull that a bit tight. Okay, and there's your slip knot. And then we are going to chain 7, like what we did for the ribbing on the front panel. So again, it's yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and then you're going to turn over your work to reveal the back bumps of the chains. And then we are going to insert into the second chain from the hook, insert underneath that back loop, and place a single crochet. Oopsie. Place a single crochet into each chain across till you get to the end, and your stitch count should, by the end of this row, your stitch count should be 6 single crochets. Oops. There we go. Should be 6 single crochets by the end of this row. Okay, so you can just repeat this, placing 1 single crochet into each of the chains across until you get to the end. Okay, nearly at the end here. Okay, so there we go. There is our beginning chain, and again we're going to do the same as what we did for the front panel. We're going to do the ribbing, so it's 1 single crochet to the back loops only of each stitch across. Okay, and again you would keep the same stitch count of 6. Okay, so you can just repeat this ribbing, placing 1 single crochet into each of the back loops all the way until you get the desired length that you need. Again, we're going to keep to the same length as what we did for the front panel. So in total I will have 20 rows, and yeah, so you'll just basically do the same amounts of rows as you did for your front panel. Okay, so you can just carry on with this until you have the amount of rows done, and then I'll come back and I'll meet up with you when you're ready to move on. Yeah, so you can just repeat this, putting 1 single crochet into the back loops of each stitch across till you get to your desired length or the same length as your front panel, and then I'll come back and meet up with you when we're ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so now I have done my 20 rows of the 1 single crochet in the back loops only of each stitch. Okay, so this is what the ribbing looks like for the back panel. It's basically the same as the front, And so we're going to chain 1 again, and we're going to work on the edges of the single crochet rows as what we did for the first one. So as again, we're going to place 1 single crochet down each row of the single crochet back loop rows. So I put 1 single crochet in the first row, then I'll put 1 single crochet at the top of the next stitch or the next row, then I've put 1 single crochet to the side of the next row, then again 1 single crochet into the top of the next row. Okay, and then you just repeat this all the way along, putting 1 single crochet down the side of each row until you get to the end, and you should have the same stitch count as the number of rows that you had for your ribbing. So as I said, I had 20 rows for the ribbing, so I'm going to have 20 stitches for the ribbing, or for the top of the ribbing now, for what we're working on. Okay, so you can just repeat that until you get back to the beginning again, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the sweater. Okay, so now I have made it to the end, and as I said, I should have the same stitch count as the number of rows that I did. So again, it should be 20. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. We're going to turn our work, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet into each stitch till the end, and we're going to be doing this for a total of 7 rows. So for the back, we are not going to do a V like what we did for the front. We're going to crochet until 1 row below the front panel. So you know how we ended on 8 rows, we're going to stop at 7, and then we are going to work. So let me just pull this up here quickly. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to crochet the length of the sweater until the 7th row over here. And then what we're going to do, so this whole panel will just be 1 double crochet in each stitch, so you'll have 20 stitches over here. And then what we will do is we will chain 2 and turn, and then we'll work 7 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 stitches on this side. We'll cut a yarn, then we'll join here and do 7 stitches across the other side. So we will leave 1 row for our neck opening. We won't have a V here. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you guys. So okay, so again, we're just going to place 1 double crochet into each stitch across for the next 7 rows, or until the second to last row of your front panel, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'll meet back up with you when we have gotten to that point. Okay guys, I haven't finished my back panel yet, but I just wanted to let you know that I just ran out of my first ball of yarn. So my first ball, I managed to do 1 whole front panel and the ribbing and only 2.5 rows of the double crochets. And I just wanted to show you how I like to join my yarn in garments, because I now realize that I don't like to join with knots in my garments. I normally do join yarn with a knot, but now what I like to do is I like to crochet my new ball of yarn in, or my new yarn in. So basically, as you see here, my yarn is running out as I'm like in the middle of a stitch. So I have 3 loops on my hook, and I won't be able to finish the stitch with my current working yarn. So then what I'll do is I'll take my new ball of yarn, and I'm just going to put this over my hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull the new loop through, or my new ball of yarn through all of the loops on my hook, like that. And then now what I do is I will now continue working with my new ball of yarn, and then I'll just work over these tail ends. So I'll just yarn over, go into the next stitch and do a double crochet as normal, like that, and just work over those tail ends. This section where you will work over will become like more chunkier because you're obviously working over like 2 strands of yarn. But this is the way I like to do it. So then the join becomes like seamless, you know, so you don't have any like obvious knots showing in your work, and you know, it's like crocheted all in one piece. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to show you that real quick. Okay, so yeah, I did get quite like far with the first ball of yarn, and I'm moving on to my second one. Okay, so as I said, you can just repeat putting 1 double crochet into each stitch for the next 7 rows, or until the second to last row of your like front panel. So if you had, I don't know, 12 rows for your front panel, you'll stop at 11 rows. Okay, so you can carry on with that, and I'll meet back up with you when we're ready to do the little like neck opening for the back. Okay, so I have completed the total rows of my back that I needed to do. So I stopped 1 row before the end of my front panel. So actually including the V-neck rows, I have done a total of 12 rows for the front. So I stopped at my 11th row. I stopped 1 row below my end, my last row of the front panel. So as I said, my front panel has a total of 12, and for the back I stopped at row 11. So I just did 1 double crochet in each stitch across for the length of 11 rows. Okay, so now moving on to the next row, the last row, we are now going to leave an opening for the neck. Okay, so the same amount of stitches that we had for the V's. So let me just see here for the V-neck, for the sides of the V-neck. So if you see here, we have 7 stitches for the side of the V-neck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and also 7 on this side. So we need to have our front and a back kind of matching. So we're going to place 1 double crochet into the first 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, we've done our 7 there, and then we're just going to snip our yarn, leaving a little bit of a tail to sew in later. Yarn over, pull that through, and then you're going to count 7 stitches from the end. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then insert our hook into that 7th stitch. Put the yarn over our hook and pull that through. Do a chain 2, and then put 1 double crochet into the last 7 double crochet stitches, and you're going to work over the tail end. Okay, so now this will be the end of your back panel now. So now we just need to sew the front and the back panels together, and then we can move on to the sleeves. Okay, so I'm nearly done here. Just have the last 2 stitches to do. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that is what it should be looking like now. Let me just cut my yarn here now because I don't need to work this anymore. Yeah, so there we go. That is what it looks like now. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. So there's like a little U opening there, which is exactly what we want, because there is our v-neck, as you can see, and then we are going to place this on top. Okay, so this will be our back opening, and then this will be our front. Okay, so it's going to look like this. Can't get in full view here. Okay, so this is the front panel on top of the back panel, so as you can see, and then we'll neatly put like slip stitches around here, or single crochets, not sure yet. But yeah, we actually did not need to cut our yarn, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the side that I like the best. So I like this side, and oops. Okay, so just gonna place the right sides out and the wrong sides together. Okay, and then what we are going to do is actually we are going to place the right sides together, not the wrong sides together. Okay, so we are actually going to place the right sides together. Sorry, this is very big. It takes up a big space on my desk. Okay, so we got our wrong sides together. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to slip stitch the top closed. Well, not the closed, but we're just going to slip stitch. Let me move into frame. So we're going to slip stitch these top two sides together like that. Okay, so we really did not have to cut our yarn, but anyway. Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to slip stitch this, which means we will have a lot of tail ends to work through. Oopsie. Do that again. Yeah, so we'll have a lot of tail ends to sew at the end of this, or we can just try our best to crochet over it. Okay, so as I said, we're just going to slip stitch. Okay, so slip stitch is just insert, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through that loop on your hook to do a slip stitch. So again, it's insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through that loop on your hook. Again, oops, do this again. Okay, so you'll just slip stitch all the way across. Till you get to the end. And of course you should have 7 slip stitches because you've gone into 7 stitches of both sides. Okay, so we can cut our yarn again. You're gonna have a lot of tail ends to sew in. Okay, so if we flip our work over, so this is what the seam should be looking like. It should be a nice neat seam, you can see there. So now we'll just repeat the same for the other side, slip stitching across. So I'm going to go there into the first stitch and the first stitch of the back panel, yarn over my hook, chain 1, and do your slip stitches all the way to the end. Okay. Okay, so now that's finished. Okay, so we just need to, yeah, so we're just gonna take our scissors and cut our yarn again. leaving a bit of a tail to sew in. Sew in a bit later. Okay, so again, if I flip my work, this is what the seam should be looking like now. Okay, should be a nice clear seam. Okay, so now this is what the neck hole opening looks like now that we have done, now we have sewn it together. Now you can see it's got this beautiful like neck opening. Let me just set this out nicely. Okay, so as you can see, it's got this nice like little V-neck opening. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to sew up the sides together. You would just want to put this on and then mark where about your sleeves end, or like the underneath of your armpit. So you'll put this on and you'll get like a stitch marker, and then like you'll just mark or eyeball where your armhole starts. And yeah, so you can just do that quickly, then I'll come back and I'll show you how to sew in the sides. Okay, so now I am back and I have decided that my armhole opening is going to be 6 rows in length. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to stop at the 6th row. So I'm also going to count the 6th row from the back. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm just going to get some yarn, maybe about 3 times the length of that, or 1, 2 and a bit. Let's just go 2 and a bit. Hopefully it'll be enough. So 2 and a bit things of yarn. Okay, so I'm just going to use my 4mm crochet hook just to help thread my tail ends in. And also, just before you actually start sewing, you just want to make sure that the that the seams where you slip stitched is on the right side of the work. Okay, well, not the right side, the slip stitches are on the inside. Okay, so let me just lay this out again nicely. Okay, there we go. Okay, so again, I have just cut some yarn here that is about 2 times the length from the bottom to the 6th row up. So again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna stop sewing when I get to like the top of row 5 or the bottom of row 6. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my crochet hook. I'm just gonna thread it through the stitches. So I'm just gonna yarn over and pull the long tail end through, leaving obviously a bit of a tail end. Okay, like that. Okay, so I'm just going to tie this into a knot at the end here, like that. Okay, so now what you'll want to do is you just want to going to weave in my hook through those first stitches again, yarn over and pull my yarn through. Whoopsie, sorry. And then again go through the next stitch, pull that through. Okay, again go up through the next stitch, and the next stitch on the front panel, pull that through, insert into the next stitches, and you're inserting through the front and the back, so you are catching like the front and the back of the sweater or the panels, and you're just weaving, you're just yarning over and pulling the yarn through. I really hope I'll have enough to sew this in. I don't even know if I will. Yeah, so you're just going to roughly just crochet or sew this closed with your crochet hook. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but obviously you don't want the seams to like open up while you're wearing it. So just got to try and get it as neat as you can. Come on. So just poking it through the sides of the stitches, just roughly. Okay, and you're going to keep on doing this till you've reached the bottom of the 6th row. So that's it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so you can use a stitch marker if you want to. Probably would be better anyway to use a stitch marker. I'm just making life a bit difficult for myself right now. Okay, so just gonna weave this through the front and the back panel, making sure that it is properly lined up. Okay. So just weaving it through the stitches. Okay, just need to sew through one row here. Okay, just count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, yeah, so I have now crocheted to the end of row 6. Okay, I'm just gonna do a notch here. So I've pulled up just a little bit of a loop, and then I'm gonna take my fingers, poke it through, pick up my tail end, and just like pull that tight. Okay, so there we go. It is now seamed up. Okay, and there is our armhole opening. Okay, so now we'll just repeat this for the other side of the sweater. So just lay this out flat. Okay, so you'll just do the same. So you'll get a piece of yarn long enough to sew from the bottom to the bottom of the 6th row, or to the top of the 5th row. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we'll end here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you'll end there. Okay, so you can just do that for the other side, then I'll come back and show you how to do the sleeves. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the sleeve. So you would want to make sure that your work is the right side out. So you have the right side of the work facing outwards. And we are now just going to take our yarn and we are just going to place one single crochet around the armhole opening. And I'm just going to crochet over this tail end and my tail end of my working yarn that I'm going to join now. So do a chain 1 just to secure that in place. Oopsie. And then we are just going to place one single crochet evenly around the armhole opening. Come on. Okay. And what you want to do is by the end of this single crochet row, you just want to count your stitches and write down that stitch count, or like take notes of it, because you would need that same stitch count to do the other sleeve. So you definitely wouldn't want to make what would you call it, you wouldn't want to crochet like one armhole and not really count your stitches, and then when you do the next armhole, like when you crochet single crochet all the way around, and when you finish working your sleeves, you find that actually one sleeve is actually bigger than the other, and you can like actually feel it. You can actually feel that the one sleeve is baggier than the other. So yeah, just write down the number of stitches by the end of the single crochet row and take notes of it so we can use that same stitch count for the other sleeve. Okay, so you can just continue placing one single crochet evenly around, and I'll meet back up with you when we are ready to move on to the next round, or the next step of the sleeve, I should say. Okay, so now I have made it all the way around, and I put one single crochet in each stitch around, and I counted my stitch counts and I have 25. So as I said, you just want to write down that stitch count or keep note of it, so we can use the same stitch count for the other sleeve. So to end this off, we're just going to slip stitch to the beginning stitch. Okay, and we're just going to slip stitch. And then to create the length that we need for our sleeve, we need to chain a number of chains for our sleeve, or for the length of the sleeve. And bear in mind, we are going to do a cuff. So I can't remember where my cuff was going to sit, but yeah, for my sleeve I chained 26. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I actually chained 25 plus 1, so 26. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Okay, so I chained 26, and as I say, this will be the length of my sleeve. And then what we are going to do is we are now going to place one double crochet into the back loops of all of the stitches. Okay, so again, a double crochet is yarn over, insert into the second chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2 again to do a double crochet. Okay, so you just repeat this all the way along, placing one double crochet into each of the chains, and then I'll come back and show you what to do to move on to the next step of the sleeve. Okay, so you can just continue this till the end, and I will meet back up with you when we are ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so I have now made it to the end of my chain. So as I said, I've put 1 double crochet into each chain across, and now what we're going to do is we're going to skip the stitch that we previously like slip stitch into at the beginning. We're going to skip the next stitch, and then we'll slip stitch into the next stitch, and then again we will skip 1 stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch, and then we will turn our work. So we will turn our work. Let me try and see if I can get this all into frame here. Turn our work, and then we will work back down our length of double crochets here. So we're going to work into the back loops only. So like what we did with the single crochet ribbing, we are now going to do ribbing on the sleeves but with double crochet stitches. So we're going to yarn over, insert into the back loop only of the double crochet stitch, and complete your double crochet. Again, yarn over, insert into the back loop of the next stitch, and do your double crochet. So you just repeat this all the way along till you get to the end of your chains, and then I'll meet back up with you when we are ready to move on to the next round. Okay, so you can continue this until you get to the end, and I'll meet back up with you when you're ready to move on to the next row. Okay, so now I have made it back down to the end of my row, and I'm just going to chain 2, turn my work, and then I'm just going to place 1 double crochet into the back loops only of each stitch across until we get to the base of our sleeve, or to the armhole. Okay. So we're nearly done with the sweater now. We just need to literally just do the sleeves, and then we're just going to do like some nice like slip stitches or single crochets around the neck hole opening, just so we can just neaten that off, and then we literally just need to sew in our tail ends, and then like we'll be done. So yeah, this is a really fun and super chunky sweater to make. It is literally so quick to work up. In the time that I have recorded this and crocheted this, I have literally I could literally finish this in a day. I literally started this the sweater yesterday. When uploaded, it will probably be the 3rd day after I started it. But yeah, I started it on, what's today? Today is Friday, Good Friday. I started this thing yesterday. Yeah, so on Thursday I started it, and I literally could have finished it yesterday, but I was busy working out the sleeves, because I wasn't quite sure what to do with the sleeves yet, and I was busy like trying to work it out. And like I did my first sleeve, but then I didn't really like it, and then I decided to try out a different sleeve, and by then it was like 7 o'clock at night, and I still could have made the sleeve and finished the sweater that night at like, I don't know, maybe 9 o'clock or something, but and I was just like, nah, I've worked on this sweater the whole day, I kind of just want a break. And then I crocheted Tony's Lemire wrap. I don't know if you know Tony or Teal Yarn Crafts, but yeah, I love her channel, I really do. And yeah, I will be doing a video of me crocheting her adventurous scarf. I'll literally just be showing myself crocheting it because I love that scarf. But like, I recorded the first scarf, but I kind of got carried away because I'm at college now, and like I got carried away with college and with the scarf, and I literally just like crocheted away, and I forgot to record, and then I came back and like I recorded some and then like I went back to see like when was the last time I recorded, and it was like basically like the beginning of the scarf, and like I was like way past like the middle of the scarf, and I'm like shit. I'm like, well, I now have to like redo the scarf or like make another one now because I forgot to record. So yeah, so that will be coming out soon. But yeah, anyway, so now I've made it back down to the end of my chains here, and I'm back at the base. So we're gonna skip the slip stitch that our stitch is coming out of. No, sorry, we're gonna skip the stitch that our slip stitch is previously coming out of. We'll skip the next stitch, and then in the following stitch we'll do a slip stitch. Then we'll skip the next stitch, and then we'll do another slip stitch, and then we'll turn our work. Oh gosh, it's so jumbo. And then we'll turn our work. Now my yarn is like, no, my yarn is now on the floor. That's nice. Yeah, so I've now turned my work. This is a really horrible like demonstration here. Okay, so now I have turned my work, and now we're going to place 1 double crochet into the back loops again, and you will just repeat this for the length of the sleeve. So you'll work in the back loops only of all the double crochet stitches, and then when you get to the base you'll skip 1 stitch, slip stitch in the next. That's to secure our row to the armhole opening, and then we'll skip another stitch and then slip stitch in the next stitch to create leverage for our next row. Okay, so yeah, so you'll just repeat this for the entire length of the sleeve, and it really doesn't matter if like you come to the end and you have now done like your last row and you still have like 1 more like single crochet stitch remaining. It doesn't matter, just literally like skip that stitch and then just slip stitch to the beginning stitch, beginning slip stitch, and yeah. But yeah, you can just continue this, and I'll meet back up with you when we have worked all the way around the length of the sleeve or the armhole opening. Okay, so you can go off and do that quickly now. Okay, so now I have made it back round to the beginning again, and I had skipped my 1 stitch and slip stitch into the next stitch, and now I just have like 2 stitches remaining. So I'm just going to skip the next stitch and then slip stitch into the next stitch, and then I'm just going to slip stitch into the slip stitch of the first double crochet row. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to seam up our sleeve now. So what you want to do is just turn your work so that your sleeve is like folded in half on top of itself like this, and then what you'd want to do is go into the first double crochet stitch of the front and the first double crochet stitch in the back, and we're just going to slip stitch all the way along. So we're just going to slip stitch it closed. The chains are a little bit hard to work into. Just gotta maneuver your hook in there. Oh gosh, they are quite tight. So yeah, just slip stitch the side of the, the side of the sleeve together, and then I'll come back and meet you up when you're ready to move on to the cuff of the sleeve. Okay. Okay, so now I have made it all the way to the end, and I've slip stitched those 2 sides together so it forms this nice beautiful ridge. Okay, so now we are going to work on the cuff. So to do that, we are going to, where we left off, we're going to chain 1. We're going to place 1 single crochet into this stitch here. I'm going to place 1 single crochet in there, and then we are going to place another single crochet into the bottom of the double crochet stitch, or the top, whichever one it is, I don't know. Okay, again we're going to skip this whole post and then go into the actual top of this of the double crochet stitch. Again we're going to skip the whole post of the stitch and then go into like the top of the double crochet stitch. And what this is doing by like skipping the actual posts and going into the stitch is it is bringing the cuff in, or the sleeve in, or the sleeve. So yeah, you would just want to continue this, placing 1 single crochet in just the top stitch of the double crochet, if that makes any sense. So yeah, you just want to continue this all the way around until you get back to the beginning again. Just gonna do this last one more time. Okay, so you can just repeat this all the way around, and then I'll meet back up with you when we're ready to move on to the rest of the cuff. Okay, so now I'm coming to the beginning again, and I'm just going to put 1 single crochet into the end stitch there, and then we are just going to slip stitch to the beginning single crochet stitch. Okay, so now for the cuff, let me just sort my yarn out quickly. Oh gosh, okay. This sweater is so heavy and it's just like hanging everywhere. Okay, give me a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so for the cuff, we are going to, chain 5. Okay, so we're gonna, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, oopsie, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's 5. And then we're going to turn our chains. We're going to turn our chains, and we're going to place 1 single crochet into the second chain from hook. Come on. To the second chain from hook, and in each chain across until we get to the base. And basically what the ribbing that we did for for the bottom of the sweater, for the waistband, it's basically the same thing. Whoopsie. Okay, so I have now single crocheted to the end. You're going to skip this first stitch that our slip stitch is coming out of. You're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and then slip stitch into the next stitch again. So we basically have slip stitched into the next 2 stitches of the base. And then we will turn our work, and we will place 1 single crochet into the back loops only of those single crochets. Okay. Chain 1 and turn. And then again place 1 single crochet into the back loops only. Okay. And then again we will slip stitch twice into the base. So skip this first stitch that our slip stitch is coming out of, slip stitch into the next stitch, and slip stitch into the next stitch. So the first slip stitch is to connect our row to the sleeve, and then our next slip stitch is to create leverage. Okay, so again we're going to turn our work, and then we are going to place one single crochet into the back loops of each single crochet. Okay. Yeah, so you can just repeat this all the way around your cuff, and then I'll meet back up with you when we are ready to join our cuff, or the sides of our cuff together. Okay. Okay, so you can continue that all the way around. Okay, so I have now finished crocheting all into the back loops and slip stitching into the base of the sleeve all the way around, and my last row I literally just slip stitched into the last single crochet stitch. And now what we're going to do is now we are just going to now slip stitch the side of our cuff together. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the first stitch of this side and the first stitch of that side and do a slip stitch. Again, go into the next stitch and the next stitch on the other side and do your slip stitch. And do your slip stitch again, and now slip stitch into the last stitch. Come on. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we have slip stitched our cuff together, and now we can just take our scissors and we can cut our yarn, leaving a little bit of a tail to sew in later, and then basically do a chain one and pull that through. Yeah, so there you go. There is our cuff, there is our sleeve. That is what it looks like now. Yeah, so now we have finished our sleeve, and now you can go ahead and you can do the same steps for the other side. And again, you would want to take note of the stitch count you did for this sleeve for the base of the single crochets here at the armhole opening. So I did 25, so I need to make sure to do 25 single crochet stitches for my other armhole opening. Okay, so there you go. You can just repeat this. You can just go back in the video and repeat the same steps for your second sleeve, and then I'll meet back up with you when you're ready to do when we are ready to go around the neck hole opening. Okay, so now I am back and I have now finished crocheting the sleeves. They are very super big and chunky. Okay, so now we are now going to work on neatening up this neck hole opening here. Okay, so what we are going to do, and this is how much yarn I have left from the third ball. So I'm pretty sure this will be enough to finish up the sweater, and then we have one ball remaining. Okay, so let's get our crochet hook. Okay, let's get our crochet hook, and whoopsie. Okay, I don't know how to lay this out. Okay, I'm just going to turn my work this side. Okay, and then I'm just going to insert my crochet hook into the double crochet stitch here on the back. Okay, and then we're just going to do a chain one to secure. Then we're going to go back into that stitch and we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, and then we're just going to slip stitch all the way around, nice and loose. You don't want it too tight, so you just want to slip stitch all the way around the edge of the neck hole opening. Again, you don't want to crochet your stitches too tight. Sorry, let me just maneuver my sweater around here. The sweater takes up so much space on my desk, it's crazy. Well, I guess that's what chunky calls for, I guess. Okay, so you're just going to place one slip stitch evenly all the way around. And when you get to like the sides of the stitches here, just again just place one slip stitch just evenly all the way around, very loosely. Okay, I'm just going to go in through both of these loops here where I seamed my shoulder portions together. Okay, let me turn my work again. So the sleeve is facing the front. Okay, let me pull up my yarn. Okay. Okay, so again, you just want to continue placing one slip stitch around the edge of the neck hole opening, and then I'll come back and meet you up when we are ready to sew in our tail ends. Okay. Okay, so now I have slip stitched all the way around, and I still have a little bit of a tail just to slip stitch to the beginning stitch to end off. Hopefully I'll have enough to pull this through. Oops. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there we go. I have now slip stitched the neck opening, and this is what it looks like. Doesn't that just look beautiful? Doesn't that just look super neat and just beautiful? Okay, so that is basically our sweater all done with our beautiful sleeves here. Yeah, now the only thing that's left to do is just tie on our tail ends. Okay, so I'm gonna start down here since it's like already here down at the bottom. So just gonna weave my crochet hook through some of these stitches, and then I'm just gonna take my yarn and wrap it around my crochet hook, and then pull that through again. Feed my crochet hook through some of these stitches, yarn over and pull through again, put my crochet hook through some of those stitches, yarn over and pull through all of those stitches. Okay. Okay, so you can just repeat that, and I'll come back and I'll show you what the finished sweater looks like with all of the tail ends finished and sewn in. Okay. I think I'm going to maybe weave this under these two stitches here. Oops, come on. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab my scissors and just neatly snip this close to the work. Of course, try not to snip the other stitches. Okay, so there you go, that is now sewn in. Okay, so you can just repeat that for all of the other available tail ends, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Well, when all the tail ends are sewn in. Yeah.
Soundstripe. Soundstripe.
bonus pattern of this tutorial. I'll be using the last ball of yarn because, as I said, we used well, I bought 4 balls of yarn to make the sweater, but I only used 3, so we're going to be making a bonus pattern. Okay, so the yarn again is a Charity Mega Chunky Solid. It's the same yarn that we used for the tutorial, 100% acrylic. It's a 300-gram ball. It's in the color Aqua. Again, it's 120 yards or 110 meters. Recommends a 12 to 15 millimeter crochet hook, which we will be using a 12 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, so for this bonus pattern, we will be making my mega chunky hat or beanie, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so to begin, and to make this hat, you will only need 1 ball of this yarn. So, yeah, so to begin, we are going to take our yarn, wrap it around our fingers to form an X, insert under the first loop, pick up the second loop, and then pick up your working yarn and do a chain 1 to secure that magic ring. Okay, I'm just going to pull mine a little bit tight. Yeah, like that. That's good. Let me just grab some more yarn here quickly. Okay, so to begin, we are going to place 12 double crochets into the magic ring. So double crochets, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 to do a double crochet. Again, it's yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so that's 2, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you just repeat this, putting 12 all the way, you'll just repeat this all the way around, putting 12 double crochets into your magic ring. Okay. So yeah, this is my mega chunky hat pattern. There is a tutorial on my YouTube channel for this already, but for new subscribers or new viewers who isn't subscribed to my channel, this is just a bonus little tutorial pattern here. So you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm nearly there. 8. Let me just close up my tail end just a little bit. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 for the last one. Okay, so you should have 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, and a way to count your stitches is you have a front loop and you have a back loop. I actually forgot to mention what other materials we'll be needing. We will be needing a pair of scissors and either a big tapestry needle with a big R, or a smaller crochet hook. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook to weave in those ends at the end. My apologies. Forgot to mention the materials. Okay, so after we have our 12 double crochets, we can just take our tail end and just pull in our magic ring a little bit. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to break the yarn. Okay, so now after you have your 12 double crochets, we're going to slip stitch to the beginning. So slip stitch is just insert, yarn over. I'm going to carry my tail end, so hold it over my work or my hook. Just leave it there. So I've inserted, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through that loop on your hook to do a slip stitch. Okay, so we're going to chain up 2 for leverage. So chain is just yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Okay, so we're just chaining for leverage. My yarn just fell on the floor. Okay, and now for this round we're going to place 2 double crochets into every stitch. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 to do a double crochet. Again, we're going to put another double crochet in there. We're going to put 2 double crochets into one stitch. This is classified as an increase. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, whoopsie, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, to do an increase. We're going to do an increase in the next stitch again. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So do 1 double crochet, and then we'll do another one in there. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So do another double crochet. Okay, so you'll just repeat this all the way around, putting 2 double crochets into each stitch all the way around, or an increase into every stitch all the way around, and your stitch count should have gone from 12 to 24 by the end of this row. Okay. So you can just repeat this all the way around, then I'll meet back up with you when we are ready to move on to the next round. Okay. Okay, so now I have made it back round to the beginning again, and I've placed an increase into every stitch around, or 2 double crochets into every stitch around. And as I said, your stitch count should have doubled, so you would have had 24 at the end of this round. So let's count quickly. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay, again, to move on to the next round, we're going to slip stitch to the beginning. So we're going to insert, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. Okay, moving on to the next round, we are again going to chain up 2 for leverage, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the first stitch, only 1. So we're going to insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. Okay, so we're only going to do 1 stitch in the first one. In the second one, we're going to do an increase, which is 2 double crochets. We're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. That's 1. Again, another one in there. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Again, into the next stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Again, in the next one, we're going to do 2 double crochets. I'm going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1 double crochet. Again, another one in the same stitch. Okay, and we just repeat that all the way around, placing 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. All the way around until you get back to the beginning again, and your stitch count should have gone from 24 to 36. If I'm not mistaken, 12, 24, 36. Yeah, 36 to 36. Okay, so you can just repeat that all the way around, putting 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase in the next stitch. And then I'll meet back up with you when we are ready to move on to the next round. Okay. Okay. So now I have made it all the way back around to the beginning again, and your stitch count should have gone up to 36. And a good way to know if you have also ended on the right stitch count is if you started with 1 double crochet, you will end on an increase, and vice versa. So if you started with an increase, you will end on a 1 double crochet stitch. But if you didn't, if you ended on a double crochet and a double crochet, if you started with a double crochet and ended on a double crochet, then you did something wrong. Okay, moving on. So again, we're going to slip stitch to the beginning. We're going to chain up 2, and then for the next 3 rounds, we're going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch. So for the next 3 rounds. So in total, you should have 6 rounds. We have 1, 2, 3 already. So we will just do 1 double crochet in each stitch with no increases or decreases. Just putting 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way around for the next 3 rounds. And your stitch count would have you would have kept the same stitch count, okay, which is 36. You would have kept the same stitch count. Okay, so you can just repeat this all the way around, placing 1 double crochet in each stitch around for the next 3 rounds. Okay, so we will come back and we would have had 6 rounds in total completed, or 3 rounds of just 1 double crochet in each stitch. Okay, so you can carry on with this and we'll meet back up with you when we are ready to move on to the ribbing of the hat. Okay. Okay, so now I've made it back round to the beginning after doing my 3 rows of just 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so now we are very close to finishing this hat already. So we're going to slip stitch to the beginning. Okay, so now we're going to work on the ribbing of the hat. Okay, and don't worry if, like, how should I put it? Okay, with doing the 1 double crochet in each stitch around, for the next 3 rounds, it is gonna, what would you call it? It is gonna do this. You know, your work is gonna go from a flat circle to like a bowl, if you want to think of it like that. So yeah, that is gonna happen if this is like, if you're a beginner to crochet and this is your first time crocheting a hat. It will do that. Okay, moving on to the brim, we are going to chain 5. So we're going to yarn over and pull through to do a chain. Yarn over and pull through. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll turn our work. We will turn our work and then we'll do 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So a single crochet, we're going to insert into the back bump of the chain. So there is a back bump here. You have the two bars in the front that make up the V. And when you turn your chains over, you have this back bump. So you're going to insert into the back bump and you're going to do a single crochet. And a single crochet is insert, yarn over, pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Again, you're going to insert into the next stitch or the next chain, yarn over, pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through those 2. Again, you're going to insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Again, in the last stitch, you're going to insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so that's what our first row of ribbing should be looking like now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip this first stitch where our chain and slip stitch is coming out of over here. We're going to go into the next one and slip stitch in there. Whoopsie. We're going to slip stitch in there and we'll slip stitch in the next stitch. So we have basically slip stitched twice into the base of the hat. So the first one is to attach the row to the hat, and then the second one is to create leverage to work back onto our chains. So we're going to turn our work, and now for the second row and onwards we're going to repeat we will repeat row 2. So we will insert into the back loop only of the stitch. So as I said, with a stitch you have a front loop, the loop that's closest to you, then you have a back loop, the loop that's furthest away from you. So we will insert our hook into the back loop of the single crochet and do a single crochet in there. And you will insert into the back loops of each stitch and place a single crochet. and you should have a stitch count of 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah. Okay, so again, you're going to chain 1 and turn. And again, you're going to place 1 single crochet into the back loops only of these single crochet stitches. Okay, again, you're going to skip this first stitch here where our slip stitch is coming out of. You're going to go into the second stitch, slip stitch in there, slip stitch into the second stitch after that. So you would have slip stitched twice again into the base. Turn your work, and then 1 single crochet into the back loops of each stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Again, place 1 single crochet to the back loops of each stitch. Okay, again slip stitch twice into the base. So not this first stitch where our previous slip stitch in a row is coming out of. I'm going to go into the next stitch, slip stitch there, and slip stitch again into the next stitch. Turn your work and place 1 single crochet in the back loops only again. Okay, so you just keep repeating this all the way around the hat, doing a single crochet in the back loops only of each stitch, turning your work, working back down those chains, those stitches, putting 1 single crochet in the back loops, and then slip stitch twice into the base, turn your work, and continue placing 1 single crochet into the back loops only. Okay, so you'll just repeat this all the way around until you get back to the beginning again. Okay, so now I have made it back to the beginning, and I just slip stitched into the last stitch on the base after working my last row. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take our scissors. We're going to leave just a little bit of a tail for sewing the brim together. I don't need too much. Okay, so snip that off. And then I'm just going to chain 1 and pull that through. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab my 4.5mm crochet hook, and I'm just going to weave this through the stitch here. Okay, I'm just going to weave that there, and then I'm going to weave it through the stitch on this one, like that. And then I'm going to go back to this side. I'm going to insert into the next stitch and pull the yarn through. Oops, I split the yarn. That has never happened to me before. Not with this yarn. Okay, so I've pulled it through there. I'm going to move to the other side. Go into the next stitch. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull it through. Go into the next stitch on the other side, yarn over, pull it through. Insert your hook into the next stitch on the other side, yarn over and pull it through. Here we go. Again on this side, yarn over and pull it through, and then just one more on this side, and that last stitch there, yarn over and pull it through. Yeah, there we go. So now the only thing that we need to do now is just weave in this end. So I'm just going to come back through this other side just one more time here, and then I'm just going to take my crochet hook and just feed my crochet hook under some of these single crochet stitches and pull my yarn through. Again, go underneath those stitches, So now we're just basically just weaving it in our tail end. Okay, try not to distort your stitches. Okay, again, through this double crochet stitch, sorry, this single crochet stitch here. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn my work and then again just weave my tail end through some of these other stitches here. Then I'm going to weave my crochet hook underneath this other row of single crochets here. Oops. Okay, well, the yarn just kind of split on me. Okay, well, I guess that is sewn in enough, I think, or maybe just one more, maybe one more. Let's just do this one more time. Yarn over with whatever is left. Come on. Why are you doing this to me? There we go. There we go, that worked. Okay, so now that we're done weaving that end, we can just get our scissors and cut as close to the work as possible, making sure not to snip any of those stitches. And then the last thing that we need to do is just turn up our brim. And there we go. There is a super mega chunky hat. I hope you enjoyed following along to this lovely tutorial. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. And also hit the bell notification so you can be notified of when I upload new tutorials to my YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, you can also check out my socials, Tasman's Crochet Creations, on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also get to know some behind the scenes of what's to come to my YouTube channel and other projects and things that I will be working on, or have been working on. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and enjoy the rest of your crocheting.